The team behind the basic attention token and the Brave internet browser have quietly been disrupting the $330 billion advertising industry. Largely unknown to the general public, the Brave internet browser has grown to over 25 million monthly active users and has attracted over 1 million verified content creators to the advertising network, making this one of the most widely adopted blockchain-based applications on the market today. In this video, we're going to cover how the team over at Brave has created an alternative advertising network that solves a lot of the problems that's currently plaguing the advertising industry. We're going to take a look at how you can get paid to simply browse the internet using the Brave internet browser, and we're going to take a look at how the advertising model on Brave works. And then we're going to jump into the basic attention token, and we're going to take a look at whether the basic attention token represents a good investment opportunity today. So with that, let's get right into it. The earliest known advertisement dates all the way back to around 3000 BC and was found in Thebes, Egypt. This advertisement came in the form of a wanted poster, where a local shop owner, Hapu, was offering a reward to anybody who would bring his slave, Shem, back to his shop. Now, needless to say, the content within advertisements has changed dramatically over the last 5 millennia, but still the goal of advertising remains the same, which is to convert a consumer's attention into an action, and generally that action is relating to some form of commerce. Now, over the last 2 decades, we've seen the advertising model shift from physical print and TV and radio to largely being digital advertising served via the internet. Now, in the early days of digital advertising, there was a lot of promise surrounding the space, and a lot of people thought that digital advertising would usher in an era of ultra-efficient advertising where we would be able to place a precise value on a consumer's attention. However, fast forward to today, and all of those promises fell short as the digital advertising industry has become incredibly obfuscated and complex to the point that it's creating a lot of problems not only for advertisers, but for content publishers and internet users alike. Now, to understand how the basic attention token and the Brave internet browser drive value for these 3 user groups, and how it's a significant improvement on the current digital advertising model, first we have to take a deeper look at the problems that are plaguing the digital advertising industry today. And I already briefly touched on the core problem, which is the fact that it's become incredibly complex and overrun by intermediaries. In the basic attention tokens white paper, the Brave team used this chart to highlight just how overrun by intermediaries the digital advertising ecosystem has become. And it's because of these intermediaries that the complexity of the advertising model has grown to the point that the negative externalities outweigh the potential benefits of participating in this model. Now, there's a lot of problems that arise because of these complexities, and the basic attention tokens white paper does a great job at summarizing all of these problems. But for this video, I'm just going to cover 3 of the main problems that arise from these complexities. The first problem is that content publishers lose a significant portion of their revenue. And they lose their revenue in 3 primary ways. The first way is that intermediaries take a small cut of a content publisher's revenue, and with so many intermediaries lying between the advertiser and the content publisher, this ends up costing publishers billions of dollars every year. The second way that it happens is through the employment of ad blocking technologies by internet browsers. Now, based on a survey by Global Web Index, about 38% of North American browsers use ad blocking technology, and a slightly higher 40% of Asian Pacific browsers use ad blocking technology. And naturally what this leads to is a significant loss in revenue for content publishers, as well as advertisers losing the ability to effectively target their audiences. So the use of ad blocking technology not only loses publishers' revenue, but also makes the advertiser's job significantly more difficult. The third and final way that content publishers lose revenue is through fraud. And essentially what happens is that fraudsters create fake websites and they drive fake traffic to these websites, and then advertising exchanges unknowingly route a bunch of advertisements to these fake websites, which ends up siphoning billions of dollars a year away from content publishers. So these are 3 ways that the current advertising model is failing content publishers, which is creating negative externalities not only for the content publishers because of the fact that they're losing revenue, but it's also affecting advertisers' ability to effectively target their audiences, and it's also negatively impacting the user experience because content publishers are now incentivized to fill their web pages with a bunch of really annoying ads. The second problem that arises from the current advertising model is that it's costly to content consumers. Now, it's been proven that the use of ad blocking technology can increase the battery life of your device and also reduce the amount of data that you use. And what was interesting was that in the white paper of the basic attention token, there was a study cited that showed that up to 79% of the data consumption on your mobile device comes from being fed advertisements. And that's because every time that you're fed an advertisement by a website, there are a lot of data transfers that happen on the back end that can end up not only killing your device's battery life, but can cost over $20 a month in data usage. So the current advertising model is extremely expensive to everyday content consumers, and what's interesting is that most of us aren't actually aware of this. But the fact that you can use ad blocking technology and save up to $20 a month is a pretty significant problem that's a byproduct of the current advertising model. Now, the third and final problem that arises from all of this complexity is that we've all lost trust in this advertising model. In addition to all these negative externalities like content publishers losing money, the cost of being fed ads as a content consumer, and an advertiser's inability to effectively target their audiences, there's also the problem of invasive collection of personal information, as well as tracking policies by some of these intermediaries that a lot of us have become more aware of in recent years, which has led a lot of us to opt out of this advertising model either by using an ad block or by switching over to something like a subscription model. And subscription models, like we know, have become much more popular in recent years, but it creates a barrier to entry for a lot of people who might not want to pay for a subscription, and it also limits a content publisher's ability to reach a larger audience. So if it wasn't clear prior to this, it's become increasingly clear that we need an alternative advertising model that eliminates all of these unnecessary intermediaries, and it allows content publishers to maximize their revenue, it allows advertisers to effectively target their audiences, and that also protects the privacy of everyday content consumers. And this is where the Brave Internet Browser and the Basic Attention Token come into play. And quickly before I jump into the Brave Internet Browser and the Basic Attention Token, I think it's important to note that the founder and CEO of Brave is Brendan Eich, who is a creator of JavaScript and a co-founder of Mozilla Firefox. And the rest of the team is equally experienced and top quality. And I think this is something that's important before you jump into any project, is to make sure that the management team behind the project actually knows what they're doing. And you can be absolutely confident of that, given the resume of the founder of Brave and also the rest of the team. Alright, so now jumping into the Brave Internet Browser. The Brave browser is open source and privacy focused. It doesn't track any personal information, and it blocks any incoming advertisements or tracking by third parties. And because it blocks incoming ads and trackers from third parties, it's considerably faster than other browsers like Google Chrome. And just in the short time that I've been using the Brave browser, which has been for a little bit over a week, I've noticed a considerable difference between the speed of my Brave Internet Browser compared to that of my Chrome browser. Now, if you want to download the Brave browser, it's available for download on Windows, Mac, Linux, and you can also download it on your mobile device through your device's app store. And what's cool about the Brave browser is that on the homepage, it'll actually show you how much data it saved you, as well as how much time it saved you. And you can see that over the last week that I've been using the Brave browser, it saved me about 3 minutes of time, it saved me 57 megabytes of bandwidth, and it's blocked over 2,000 trackers and ads. And I haven't even been using the Brave browser as my primary browser for the last week, but I am going to be switching over to using this Brave browser because it's pretty awesome that I'm getting paid just to simply browse the internet, and it's also considerably faster and a more private browser. And when it comes to measuring a user's attention when using the Brave browser, the browser uses a ledger system, which you can read more about in their white paper, that anonymously tracks a user's attention and then pays that user for their attention, as well as pays the publisher for the amount of attention they're able to attract from users. Now, on top of that, the browser uses in-device machine learning in order to match relevant content to relevant ads. So these features all come together to build a browser that is built on privacy and trust, and I think this is probably the most important aspect to the Brave browser that has allowed it to grow to over 25 million monthly active users, which is the fact that when you're using the Brave browser, you're using it because you want to opt into their advertising model and because you trust it. Now, by creating a model where advertisers, publishers, and users are all willingly opting into this model, it's created really strong network effects around the browser as well as around the Basic Attention Token, which is why we've seen the Basic Attention Token performing relatively well in the market over recent months, and is why I think a significant portion of advertising dollars are going to eventually be routed over to the Brave browser. Because as more content consumers start to join the Brave browser because of the fact that they can get paid by it and because they don't lose any of their privacy by using it, then that's going to attract more advertisers to the ad platform, and it's also going to attract more content publishers to join the advertising network. So this is why I think the Brave browser is an excellent project, and I think that it's going to continue to grow at a pretty rapid pace. But now that we've talked about the Brave browser, it's time to introduce the Basic Attention Token and talk about whether the Basic Attention Token represents a good investment opportunity today. Now, to allow for the Brave browser to accurately reward content publishers and to allow advertisers to pay these content publishers and users, the team introduced the Basic Attention Token. The Basic Attention Token is an ERC20 token, and it's a native currency that forms the backbone of this advertising model run on the Brave network. Now, when you sign up to use Brave, you're going to have to link your account to a wallet address with an exchange like Gemini, Binance, Crypto.com, or Uphold. And once you do that, you're going to be able to start collecting the Basic Attention Token as a reward for your attention. Now, this is one of the cool things with the Brave browser is that it comes with a built-in wallet. So you're going to be able to transact using your coins directly from your browser rather than having to open up another tab and access your exchange account. You're going to be able to access everything from a little widget that's built into the browser itself. Now, as it stands right now, as a user, when you get paid in the Basic Attention Token, you can only do a few things with that token. Either you can just hold on to that token and hope that the price appreciates. You can use that token to tip your favorite content creators, such as myself or another verified content creator that is a part of the network. or you can convert your BAT using the browser wallet and convert it into something like Bitcoin, Ethereum, or whatever your favorite crypto is. Now, because the basic attention token is an ERC20 token, it's built off of a smart contract, and this is how the advertising is enabled using the basic attention token. Essentially, the way that this works is that advertisers will launch an ad campaign, and they'll attach a certain number of basic attention tokens to that ad campaign. As that ad is delivered to users, a portion of the tokens that were bonded to that ad campaign are unlocked and given to the user as a reward for their attention. Another portion of those tokens are unlocked and given back to Brave itself, and the remaining portion of those tokens are unlocked and given to the publishers. And it's through the use of this smart contract and the Brave browser that the team at Brave have been able to cut out all of the unnecessary intermediaries that make up the current digital advertising model. So that's how the basic attention token and the Brave browser work together to create this alternative advertising model. But now what we're going to look into is whether the basic attention token represents a good investment opportunity. When it comes to whether the basic attention token represents a good investment, there's two things that we have to look at, which is the utility behind the token, which we talked about earlier already, which is that advertisers use the basic attention token to pay users and content publishers. But outside of that, the token also has to have some economic incentives, which generally come from value accrual. And this is the problem that I see with the basic attention token, which is that there is no value accrual to the token itself. Unlike a token like Rook, which for example has value accrual through the KeeperDAO treasury, or FTT, which is FTX's native exchange token that has value accrual through the buy and burn mechanism, the basic attention token has no form of value accrual, and therefore there is no reason for somebody to hold on to the basic attention token once they're given it as a reward for their attention. So the way that I see it, there's only really two sources of demand for the basic attention token. The first comes from advertisers who want to launch advertising campaigns on the network, and the second just simply comes from speculative demand. Now, like I said, I think that the Brave browser and the advertising model that they've developed are going to experience significant network effects as the amount of people using the Brave browser grows. But something else that's important to note is the fact that once a user or a content publisher is paid in the basic attention token, there's no reason for them to hold on to that token. They're likely going to sell it for another token that does have some sort of value accrual to it. So even though there's going to be a lot of advertisers coming onto the network, which is going to increase the demand for the token itself, as soon as that token is earned by a user or a content creator, they're just going to convert that token to another crypto, which is just going to create equal sell pressure to the amount of buy pressure that's going to come from advertisers. So for that reason, I don't think that the basic attention token represents a very good investment when you have the option to invest in other tokens that actually have some sort of value accrual mechanism built into it. As a speculative investment, I think that the basic attention token can likely perform well over the short term just because there's a lot of speculation in the crypto market today. But when you compare it to a lot of the other options that you have in the market today, like Bitcoin, Rook, FTT, BNB, or Siacoin, then I don't think that investing in the basic attention token makes much sense because there's no value accrual mechanism to the basic attention token itself. So what I think the best play to do is to simply just switch over to the Brave browser and start using that as your primary browser because you're going to get paid for it. Now, I haven't been using the Brave browser very much over the last week, but I have been able to make 50 cents over a week for doing pretty much absolutely nothing and watching a few YouTube videos using the browser. And not only am I getting paid that 50 cents, but I also have much better privacy on the Brave browser that doesn't collect any personal information or allow for the tracking of my behaviors on the internet. So you get better privacy and you get paid for your attention by using the Brave browser. And on top of that, if you're a content creator and you haven't signed up as a verified content creator on Brave, then you should definitely go do that because you can get paid. If you're an advertiser, you should definitely go read some of their case studies about past advertising campaigns that were run on Brave and how successful they were to see if their model is a good fit for you. But outside of that, I don't think that investing in the basic attention token is necessarily a good investment, but I do think that opting into the Brave model is a great option for pretty much everybody because it's a win-win for everybody who takes part in this ecosystem. So that does it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next video. Have a great week.